Alright, so this is going to be a real quick overview of some of the mods I installed the last couple of weeks. I did get in the APR GTC 300 wing. I also got a FR500 steering wheel, and I installed the BMR motor mounts that we were talking about. So let's get looking at them. Alright, so we got the APR GTC 300 wing on here. It looks fantastic, and the build quality is absolutely amazing. Unlike my previous wing, which flew apart at speed, this one has aluminum uprights versus the carbon fiber ones, which always gave me issues because every time you adjust the wing itself, it would just be cracking and falling apart. So the aluminum uprights are much better, and they give it a nice rigidity. So along with the wing itself, I did get a gurney flap. So R.I.P. Dan Gurney, who just passed away, unfortunately. So this APR makes fantastic carbon fiber. The splitter that I have from APR is unbelievably beat up. It's hit cones, crowds of people, curbs, the front of my winch when I forgot to tie down the car once. So, oh my God, it has taken so much abuse, but it has still survived to this day. So it's just fantastic quality. Okay, one of the other quick things I did is I installed the Ford Racing FR500 steering wheel. It is about an inch smaller in diameter, so it gives you a little bit more quick ratio kind of feel to the steering. Not only that, I have sweaty pig hands, so it's not Alcantara, but it's suede really. It gives you better grip for autocross. I don't really like wearing gloves, and in autocross you don't really need to wear gloves. There's no real safety required for that. So it is nice when you're going barehanded to have the nice suede steering wheel, because the stock leather one was just terrible. And I'm sure you've seen a couple of videos. Most of the time when I was sliding or whatnot, if I spun out, it was usually because my hand slipped on the steering wheel. So one other thing I did with the steering wheel is I pulled out the airbag, the passenger airbag, and obviously the driver airbag. Now, if you get the steering wheel, something I didn't realize you'd have to do is you have to remove the clock spring. Now, the clock spring, what that does is lets you use all the cruise control and the horn buttons and all those things. So what you'll need to do is wire in some resistors, and Sparco has a horn kit, so if you want your horn back. So currently I just left it out. I took my horns out, save a little bit of weight, and I'll just have to rev the engine if someone gets in my way. And if you're curious, on top of that, the passenger airbag weighs about 5 pounds, and the driver's side airbag weighs about the same. Alright, so you can see the motor mounts here. They are installed. Now, as far as them riding differently, I only drove around town. I don't have a pair of street tires yet. That's going to have to wait for the February 4th race coming up here in a little bit. So the butt dyno wasn't that great, just riding around town. So we're going to have to wait for the February 4th race for the full impression of that. Now, the actual install themselves of the motor mounts was pretty easy. The instructions themselves are only 2 pages. It's really straightforward. You honestly don't need to watch a how-to video. Just follow the instructions. It was a little bit easier for me because I didn't have an AC compressor, so if you do, you'll have to run into that. It is also easier if you use 2 people, and you will need flat crescent wrenches, especially for the driver's side, because everything in their mother is in the way, and if you have headers like every single Mustang person in existence, the BMR kit doesn't tell you about that. So you need 2 9/16 ratcheting crescent wrenches. So that will really help the install. Alright, so the adjustable motor mounts are in. Now, they were adjustable from stock ride height all the way down to 1/2 inch lower. Now, when I placed them in there, I had read that they can interfere with your steering shaft. And now, as you can see, I didn't even lower them the full 1/2 inch. I did only 1/4 inch after reading online that they might interfere with headers, and it's still rubbed actually a little bit. It looked like it's rubbed enough, so I'm going to have to see if it rubs any more. Maybe it just shaved away enough where I can just hit it with some paint so it doesn't rust, and just leave it as is. Otherwise, we're going to have to actually go back and put it back to the stock ride height. So one of the common questions you'll see with the BMR motor mounts is will it provide extra clearance for a supercharger or for, you know, a Boss 302 intake manifold for the newer Mustangs. So in my case, I was only able to lower it a 1/4 inch because of the steering shaft, as you saw. Now this GT500 KR strut tower brace did fit before, so I didn't have clearance issues before, but it was pretty tight, so it did provide a little bit more safety margin, although has not rubbed before, and it definitely won't rub now. So I don't know if it was exactly a 1/4 inch. I probably should have taken a ruler to it beforehand, but I did not, unfortunately. So sorry about that. Now, if you're wondering how this strut tower brace fits, well, I don't really care so much about some of the looks of my car, so I just kind of cut the hood here to fit. If you have a custom fiberglass hood or a cowl induction, the GT500 hood or the strut tower brace would probably fit. This is the GT500 KR strut tower brace. So that's it for those few mods. Make sure to watch the Meyer Racing fender flare video to see how we installed those, although it was more of an overview just like before, otherwise it'd be about 4 days long. And make sure to watch the first race video coming up in February. Both of these will be listed right here once I make them. So that's it. Thanks for watching.